Oh, you can't hear me. Let me start over. Let me start over. Because I want to I want to put this guy over. I don't know how my mic was muted. That never happens. I want to make sure I'm put him over. Someone say the same thing again. Okay. So here's the thing. When I was a kid, I used to love MC Hammer. Okay. So guess what? There was some people. There was a black man, a black male tag team as a fellow black man. I was very happy about that in the mid 90s. There was a black male tag team that would come out in purple MC Hammer style pants. All right. And I said, hey, guess what? I can relate to that because I love black male tag teams. This was an inspiration to me. I felt connected. And I also love MC Hammer. All right. So it made perfect sense to me to like this team. And guess what? That's exactly what I did. All right. I loved this tag team. And this person was the hype man for this tag team. He was in front of the tag team during their babyface run, and he hyped the crowds everywhere around the world. And me as a DJ currently can understand the hype in the crowd, rocking the spot, making the people excited about the match. And that's exactly what he did. Ladies and gentlemen, he is a former WWE Tag Team Champion, manager. He is the one and only. You know what? I'm going to say this part too. He was so over that even Vince McMahon personally had him rap before pay-per-views to hype up pay-per-views. I'm an old school wrestling fan. All right. I love hypes to pay-per-views. I love hypes to matches. That's how you get us excited. And this man was tailor-made, was custom made, custom built, custom designed, custom requested to hype us for those pay-per-view matches. He is Oscar. How are you tonight, my man?
Introduction. I think that's one of the best ones I ever heard. Thank you.
Hey,
except the part when you was a kid, because it kills me when you grown people talk about when y'all make me feel so old.
Hey, I'm in my 40s now, man. So I'm not too young. I'm still young, but I'm not too young. I've got 3 kids. I've been married almost 12 years, so I've got some under my belt. So
well, congratulations. God bless you and your wife.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. My wife is still in her 30s, so I have the advantage of having a wife who's 7 years.
Yeah, so's mine. So there you go.
There you go. Yes, my wife is 7 years younger than me, so I have that luxury of being in Depends by the time. And I work out all the time, so I plan on still being jacked at 70 years old. But just in case if I'm in some Depends, I have a wife who's hot and younger than me to change me. So there you go. Win-win, ladies and gentlemen.
Nothing wrong with that.
How are you, my man?
I'm all right. She'll keep you out of those Depends.
There you go. And there's no Depends for that.
Happy New Year, Dr. Chris.
I appreciate it, man. Well, before we get into just what's going on in the life of Oscar, I know you got some projects going on, man. You got some really, really interesting things coming up. Speaking of Man in the Mission, of course, we know Mabel's has passed. Mo is actually not doing the best health-wise. Let the listeners know. I want you to give an update of Mo before we get into you and the questions that the SK Nation has for you. Looks like there's a bunch of questions ready for you. I want to talk about Mo. And by the time you're done talking about Mo, Oscar, I want us to really back Mo and to really get to the point where we're very supportive and we shower him with our prayers, and we'll get an article written about his health, and so it can really spread and make the circulation so we can all send him our well wishes.
Well, Mo has had some real medical hurdles over the years. Mm-hmm. He had kidney issues where one of his kidneys shut down, and he was on the list to get a new kidney. Now, with the help of God and people all over the world, he wound up getting the kidneys. He had a kidney transplant, and the kidney transplant went well. And then, as all people know, along came COVID. So recently, he did wind up catching COVID because you're immunocompromised when you have such an operation. A lot of people, don't even know it. He had gotten both his shots from what I understand, but because of his situation, the shots were ineffective. Mm-hmm. So when he caught COVID, he caught it in the worst way. So he was in the hospital for the past, week to 10 days. And it's really been a really hard road for him. He got pneumonia from the COVID, pneumonia really, really bad. Yeah. And the kidney he did receive has wound up shutting down. Mm. He's been in the ICU. His oxygen was at 50%, which is not good. He's been on oxygen mask and oxygen apparatus. But the good news is yesterday he was kind of up and around, but he's still having those kidney issues with his kidney shutting down.
Mm-hmm.
So he's in the hospital still. He's going to be there for quite some time, battling COVID, battling the new kidney issues. So we need to have him uplifted and in our prayers and well wishes.
Absolutely.
For me, it's personal because, I'm still probably never going to get over the death of Mabel. I mean, that was one of my brothers, and losing a founding member of Men on a Mission was hard enough. Yeah. So to stare in the eye at that kind of problem with a second member and a second brother is really affecting me emotionally. I'm trying to hold it together, but I have a strong spiritual belief. So I'm steadily praying, and I'm steadily, trying to keep it lifted, steadily trying to stay informed with his girlfriend, and to, make sure I'm abreast of what's going on, keeping in contact with my nieces, which is his daughters. So staying in the loop and trying to make sure that everything is progressing the way we want it to go.
Yeah. I've had some interactions with him on social media, and he's actually even been on a couple of my lives before. I do a lot of theology and apologetics stuff too, and he's interacted on some of my lives and came in and said hello on Facebook. So my interactions with him have been very pleasant. So again, my prayers and well wishes are with him as well, and I hope that we all can band together and fight with him, fight for him, and just give him the strength that he needs in this time. So, best wishes to Robert Horn, better known as Mo. Absolutely. Man, you ready to get into these questions? Before we get into that, man, I want you to plug your stuff. You guys a new project coming out, man.
Yeah, it's a thing to where I like to talk about it because, one of the things of former athletes and former TV people, everybody, where are they now? Mm-hmm. And, a lot of times I never even respond because where I am is on the couch relaxing. So I don't even want to tell nobody I'm not doing nothing. I try to, but no, in a major way, the where are they now question is I just dropped an album September 12th called The First Realm. A group called the Staunch Moderates, which is it's not a political action committee. It's a movement which combats the great divide and prejudice and racism. They're all about that. And they tasked me to make an album. And the album that I made, it has 14 tracks. And all the tracks are love. All the tracks are about peace, tranquility, unity, all that. It's executive produced by a wonderful man named Greg Simmons, who tirelessly got behind the project philosophically and financially. As a matter of fact, as we speak, they're working on a video called The Bigfoots Are Coming, which is about a proposed football expansion team, which is about one of the records on the album is about it. They're actually in Aspen, Colorado right now doing a production on that video. One of the videos that we did called Peace just hit the $1 million view mark on YouTube. The lead track, Socrates Cafe, almost got a Grammy nomination. The Grammys considered it for a nomination. We didn't get it, but just to be considered was wonderful. So we really doing big things. I'm proud of it. And music-wise, I'm just looking forward to even a brighter 2022.
Very nice, man. Congratulations, man. You go by Casanova Ace.
Ace, that's my rap name. That was my rap name before the name Oscar came up from, the whole Men on a Mission project came up.
Who came up with the Oscar name? I know why Man on a Mission? I know it's an acronym for mom, but why Men on a Mission? I know that you're the Oscar and the Men on a Mission, but why Mabel and Mo?
There was a comedian named Andrew Dice Clay, and I mention it because that question we got to rewind the clock and go back into the story a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
There was a comedian named Andrew Dice Clay that I was actually doing shows with. He appreciated my talent as a freestyle rapper, and I wound up out in Las Vegas. In Las Vegas at Caesar's Palace, they were doing vignettes for WrestleMania 9. I was playing craps, and there was a commotion in the casino. I looked up and I saw this real guy in a real colorful outfit. It was Macho Man Randy Savage. Now, here's where I would get most of my jobs. I met Frank Sinatra this way. I met Clint Eastwood this way, and a whole bunch. I just went up to him, saw him, and started rapping. They took a liking to it, and next thing I know, I was in major situations, telethons, TV, whatever. So I said, WrestleMania is coming up. If I go rap to Macho Man Randy Savage, maybe I get a job rapping at WrestleMania 9. That was my plan. So I went up to Macho Man, asked him if I could do a singing telegram for him. Vince was standing there, and he's like, yeah, go ahead. So I did the rap. They put Vince in the rap, Macho Man in the rap. Mr. Perfect was standing there, Jerry Lawler was standing there. Everybody got in the rap. So they all realized right then that I couldn't have made this up. I couldn't have wrote it in advance because how would I know they was all going to be there? So Vince told me to call him at his office Monday morning because this was the weekend. So that Monday I called Vince. Vince called me back, and we had an hour-long conversation on the phone. And that was our initial conversation where right away Vince's idea off the cuff was I would be a great character to come into the WWF as a manager. So he said, after WrestleMania, we're going to work on this. So about a month later, they called me again. They fly me out to Connecticut. And that's where I met Mo and Mabel, Bobby, and Nelson for the first time. And they had already predetermined and decided that this was going to be a group. The group was going to be Men on a Mission. Nelson was going to be Mabel. Bobby was going to be Mo. My name was going to be Oscar. That was going to be the acronym MOM, which also stood for Men on a Mission. And that's simply how it was born.
Wow. Very nice, man. Well, let's dig into these questions for the next 10 minutes, 10 to 12 minutes. Let's start off with Aaron asking, how were you first hired by WWF / Vince McMahon?
I ran into, I just said the story. I ran into him in Vegas, did the rap, and he hired me pretty much right on the spot.
He said, that's good stuff, pal. But he probably didn't say stuff.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Aaron asks, how do you know about Mabel possibly? What do you know about Mabel possibly being the third man of the NWO?
I don't know too much about it. It was news to me, and it came up when I ran into Eric Bischoff, and Eric Bischoff asked me if he can get permission to make a T-shirt that said Mabel was the third man, and I didn't know what he was talking about until a little time after. So yeah, I think that really was a thing because Eric Bischoff asked me about it.
Interesting. Huh. Mabel was the third man of the NWO. How do you think that would have turned out?
The NWO was a powerful organization, and it really would have been a good thing to him to be a part of it. I wish it would have came to fruition. I think for him it would have been a really good thing.
Yeah,
I would have been jealous because I would have wanted to be the fourth man. The NWO generated a lot of money.
The hype man for the NWO, man. I can dig it. I can dig it. Guillermo's asking, how was working with Mabel and your opinion on him being repackaged as Viscera, the world's largest machine, and Big Daddy V, who was, I think he was managed by Matt Stryker at that point when he was Big Daddy V in ECW.
Of course, I only worked with him as Mabel. Okay, from the beginning, we didn't all get along too hot when it all first started. And the reason why was because, I was living in California at the time, and I had gotten Hollywood spoiled. I was doing all these big things, and coming from the ghettos of Brooklyn, living out in California, I had got exposed to limos and, almost $1 million man lifestyle, almost, but for real. 5-star hotels and limos and all other kind of stuff like that. And then I decided to take a job with the WWE because, that was steady money. So I ran into Mo and Mabel, and they were these two country guys who were still living humble. They wanted to eat at truck stops, stay at Motel 6s. I wasn't about that. I wanted to be at the Marriott, the Sheraton. And we used to fight about that all the time. We fought about a lot of things. It took a good year before we got on concrete and solid ground and really got along. Now, you couldn't tell seeing us on TV. We looked like the perfect family.
Right.
But behind the scenes, fireworks.
Now, was the money good during that time? This was what, 90? This was around 93?
No, it was everything that it was everything it was cracked up to be and more.
Good. Yeah. Let's see. Next, Rizu's asking, what was Owen Hart like backstage? Did he ever play any ribs on you?
Owen Hart did play some ribs. I woke up in Europe and I was slathered from head to toe with shaving cream, and nobody can't tell me that wasn't Owen, because it was. That was the most memorable. But on the flip side of it, he and Bret were my mentors. Owen taught me wrestling moves. Owen pushed me in workout sessions. And one of the most memorable things, and I shared this with Natalia a couple of years ago, my most biggest memory was Owen and I were in Rome, and we went to the spot where Bruce Lee and Chuck Norris fought at the Coliseum, and we took a picture. And that's just priceless right there. And to do it with Owen nowadays is even more priceless.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's start with let's go with people putting you over. Jeffrey said you're a class act.
Thank you.
Elvis is asking, you had any interaction with PN News? My boy Paul. If yes, what was it like? Can you give us a rap? I was going to ask you that too. Can you give us a freestyle for Unscripted? Maybe we can use it as a sound clip from now on.
Yeah. To answer the PN News question, I'm going to tell you when I met PN News. I saw PN News once. I saw PN News at the very first time that I went into an arena for WWE. I wasn't working that night. I went to the Nutter Center in Ohio.
Dayton. Yeah, I'm in Ohio.
Dayton. When I went backstage, PN News was there trying to get a tryout, and what wound up happening? I think I did a rap for him or whatever, and he was like, "Oh, that's the secret. The raps actually have to rhyme." I was like, "Yeah, that would help."
Yeah.
So I remember that being our conversation. But here I go on the microphone. It's late and I'm with Chris Featherstone. Chris Featherstone, the guy rocks, but I haven't forgot that the guy is a doc. So yes, right here we all stay uplifted. Even with COVID, we are unscripted.
Ooh, very nice, man. Off the top of the dome, rapping about Chris Featherstone. All right, let's go. Let's go into Rise over here is asking, how come WWE didn't call you back in 1998 when Mo and Mabel came back in 98 and became Viscera in 99? Now, before you answer that, you didn't want to manage them as heels, right?
No. Before I got into wrestling, I was touring around schools and I was teaching kids about bullying and negativity and drugs and staying in school. And there was no amount of money or prestige that was going to make me be anything negative on television. There was no kind of amount of money that could make me do it, or nothing that could flip the script and change my persona from a good guy to a criminal. And because everything that I've ever done and told any kid anywhere would have went out the window, and nothing is worth that. And I knew that, you know, beyond wrestling, there was other things that I probably could do anyway. And, you know, to answer the question about 98, you know, they were still in heel mode and I didn't want to be into that. Then by that time, I really wasn't really interested in the wrestling scene no more. I mean, I had did it. It was fantastic, but I had got burnt out from it and my fill of it. And I wanted to pursue other avenues.
Yeah. Derek is asking, when do you expect Men on a Mission to be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame?
I have no idea. I feel like it's a possibility, but I'm gonna tell you guys. I'm gonna quote you guys what Mabel told me. It was morbid, but it was what he said to me. He said that it was not gonna happen till we all died off. So whether that's
okay,
I don't know. I personally, it was gonna happen. I would like my accolade while I'm still living.
Yes,
you know,
yes, indeed. Give me my flowers now.
Right, don't cry for me after I'm dead. Right. Cry for me now. Compliment me now. Right. I don't want a repass. I want a party.
Come on.
But that's the way he felt about it. And to me, I humbly have to tell you that there are probably 100 guys that deserve it more than me at this point. So that's just the way I feel about it.
Yeah, I appreciate that. That's very humbling. I appreciate your sportsmanship there. Let's see here. Let's get a few more in. Rice is also asking, would you have liked to be a part of the Nation of Domination as a manager in the Attitude Era?
No, I mean, like I said, that was not a very nice group of individuals.
Yeah.
It was, like I said, it was in a sea of negativity. So no.
Ruji was asking, how was the Nature Boy Ric Flair like backstage?
You know, I did not work with him. I didn't work with him. I've met him a few times. I don't know whether it was the times he was having a bad day, but he just was not in a very good mood. Whenever I saw him, I ran into him. So I never really got to say hi or introduce myself or anything like that. But and it was really disappointing because, you know, I wouldn't have known anything about wrestling if my father hadn't introduced me to it to watch it on television back when I was about 9-10 years old. And that being said, there were just a list of favorites that I had that were like my idols when it come to wrestling, like your Dusty Rhodes and Bruno Sammartino, Harley Race, and Ric Flair was definitely among one of the top. So it's a thing to where and I've learned this the hard way over the years in some scenarios. You know, sometimes you might not want to meet your idols.
Yeah. You know, it's the never meet your heroes is a very popular adage. I was blessed to meet one of mine and actually share a show with him on Sportskeeda. My all-time favorite tag team is the Road Warriors, Legion of Doom, and I was blessed to have a show with Road Warrior Animal before he passed away. So he ended up being a friend of mine, and so it was pretty cool, man. He was you know, I met him, interviewed him at a wrestling show beforehand. Really? He was super talkative, very nice, really down to earth, and we ended up being friends and being hosting the show together. And you know, it was like me growing up watching him, and then after the show, him messaging me, man, hey, how'd I do? How'd it go? What you think? You know what I mean? Asking my advice and my opinion on his show and on him, co-hosting the show. So it was surreal. So I was blessed to be able to that not to happen to me, but I totally get how people say it does, unfortunately. David is asking, were you ever offered to go to WCW?
From what I understand, there was an offer in the works at one time, but it got sidelined for some reason, and I never got the whole story. So I do not know the tale of the Men on a Mission offer to WCW. I really don't. But yeah,
Gotcha.
there was some discussions.
Okay. Well, anyone who super chats gets first dibs. So I'm definitely going to give first dibs to let's see. I gotta find it first. Here we go. Rollin with the 1999 super chat. This is interesting that Bret and Owen Hart both mentor you. Bret won the inaugural King of the Ring in 1993. Hart Owen won in 94 and Mabel won in 95. Any thoughts on Mabel being the first black King of the Ring? Rollin, it's funny because Rollin was on the show yesterday. Vince Russo and I have we have many shows. We have 3 shows together. But he dropped some pretty cool facts yesterday, and this is good. The first black King of the Ring was Mabel. I've been watching wrestling for 35 years and know a bunch of stats, and I knew that, but I never really thought about it. So that's a pretty good fact to bring up here.
I can't describe the pride that I have in that, and I did not know that fact anyway. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
But I say this with all humbleness, Men on a Mission pioneered the hip hop movement in wrestling, and now you see how it's progressed, over the years. And I'm not facetious when I say that. That's just how it is. Mm-hmm. So, for Mabel to be the first black King of the Ring, it really, really, really gives me a sense of pride to be part of a man's life who just helped pioneer not only the hip hop movement in wrestling, but to be part of the OGs or early black people in wrestling to help make an impact and pave the way for a lot of the black wrestlers to come down the pike up until now, up until this day. It always touches my heart when at an independent show or one of the current talent or anything else comes up and they thank you, for helping pave the way so that they can be part of something phenomenal today, so they can even have a job or anything like that. So, I mean, those kind of stats really touch me. Thank you for bringing that to my attention.
Yeah, that was great. Yeah, I agree. Good call. Good. Thank you, Rollin.
You never know. You never know the lives you touch doing what you do. And I'll give you an example real fast. Who was it? I have brain farts at my age. There was a tag team, and the name will come back to me, a prominent tag team.
What era?
God told me when he was 10 years old, he was a kid. I was on a payphone, and he came up to me, and he said that I stopped talking on the phone, and I talked to him, and I gave him an autograph, and he said that he would never, 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 ever forget that. Luke Gallows.
Okay.
That told me that.
Nice.
And it almost made me cry because it's like, wow, really? And he said that was one of the primary things that got him in wrestling. Wow. So you never know. You're just doing your job every day. You're doing what you do. You're doing it to the best you can. But you never know the lives you touch in a way doing these things. And it's something to really be proud of.
100%. All right, man. Give me like a 2-minute lightning round. I got a few more for you real quick. Rise over here is asking, is it true Mabel was supposed to become WWE champion in SummerSlam 95, but Kevin Nash and Shawn Michaels went to Vince McMahon and told Vince McMahon not to let Mabel win the WWE title?
Okay, those are one of those inside conversations I can't speak to. So I can't.
All right. Rizu's also asking, why did Shawn Michaels have so much heat in the locker room?
Shawn Michaels had a lot of heat in the locker room because back then Shawn Michaels brought the heat in the locker room. Shawn Michaels back then, and he's a changed man now. I'm glad of it. But Shawn Michaels just, I don't know. He thought he was the king of the company. He thought he was, I mean, he rubbed people the wrong way back then. A lot of people. Tell you a story real fast. And this didn't work out well for Mo, but this is what happened. In Israel, Mabel passed out, heat exhaustion, whatever happened. Shawn Michaels is taking a shower. Mo and I are in the locker room chilling, minding our business. Shawn comes out the shower, and as Mo is standing there, the way it happened was he went out of his way, and I can remember this happened, to elbow Mo and told him to get the hell out the way. Mo told him the operative word is excuse me. The exchange of words got heated, and it almost escalated into a fight. It didn't, but it almost did. But that's an example. That's kind of an example of the kinds of things. I mean, Shawn Michaels even rubbed me the wrong way. I'm sitting on a bench, and he's gonna take my bag and throw it into the other room. I didn't say nothing because I had just found out earlier that day from Pat Patterson we were slated to be in WrestleMania 10. So I was smart enough to know, patient enough to know, and was able to hold my temper because I didn't want to say nothing or do nothing, no matter what happened, to jeopardize that.
Yeah.
But Mo's temperament is not my temperament. So they really went at it. And after that, Shawn Michaels, he did have power. I'm going to tell you that now. He shouldn't have been the way he been, but he felt like he had every right to be, because if he went and complained, things got done in his favor, whether it was should have been done or not. Mo got sidelined for a year after that, because if you look at all of 1994, Mabel was single, him and I were together, and Mo wasn't even in the picture. He was on the road, but he wasn't doing any matches.
Wow. Thankfully he's a changed man now. So well, I'm gonna let you go, my man. There's so many. We gotta bring you back on, man. There's so many other questions, but we're gonna leave off with Bill Apter in the building. Telling you hello. Always enjoy what you do. So
thank you, Bill.
Shout out to Bill Apter. Yeah, absolutely. All right, let us know once again about your project, my man, and where to find you on social media.
Okay, well, the album, The First Realm, and all the songs, Socrates Cafe, they're on every platform that there is. They spared no expense, and they took all the time to put it on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Pandora. It is everywhere. The videos, Socrates Cafe, it's called Bill Maher. Yes, that Bill Maher piece. The videos are all on YouTube. You can look them up. DJ Staunch is what it is. DJ Staunch and Casanova Ace is where you can find the videos on YouTube. Check them out. Give me some views, likes, whatever. Let me know what you think. If you don't like it, say you don't like it. Then I know the next time to step up my game. But check me out on social media.
Awesome, man. Oscar, it's been a pleasure, man. I really enjoyed having this discussion with you.
Before I go, I got a question for you. What are you a doctor of?
Psychology, forensics. I have a PhD in forensic psychology. I'm a psychotherapist.
Wow. And another thing too, you running with a guy I know, Evan Prout.
Ah, it's my boy. It's my one of my closest friends. Yeah.
Yeah, no, Evan Prout is like my nephew. Yeah,
Nice.
Evan Prout on the road with me when I was with Conrad Thompson and Bruce Richard doing Something to Wrestle With at the House of Blues, live at the House of Blues in front of people. So yeah, he was a road dog.
You going to WrestleMania this year?
I am going to WrestleMania because I'm performing, and I'm performing at a big party in Dallas that Thursday, and I will probably be more than likely at WrestleCon somewhere. So,
cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I do. I cover WrestleMania every year. I do media, so I should be there. We should meet up and chill out, man.
Yeah, no, keep in touch. You got my you got now to get a hold of me. Keep in touch. Let me know where you're gonna be at, and we definitely gonna hook up. Can't wait to meet you.
Sounds good, man. Oscar, it's been a pleasure, man. I hope you have a great evening and best success to you, man. You're
all right, man. Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
All right. Bye-bye.